Table 1 and 4 point, because they're trying to get some stuff. Let's see. Oh, I should probably have freeze the screen. Great.
What do I do with this?
It was just for you to make up the checkpoint, but I already gave it to Brister.
Okay, so I don't have to do this?
No.
Okay. I'll just keep that.
You're just, I forget you're special to me and that you roll felt really high. To anybody. Okay, back to that math workshop question. Okay. Addison said 2. I think Patrick, at least someone back there in that vicinity, said 3. So one group said 2 people. Another group said 3 people. One of these answers is correct. Obviously, one's incorrect. I'm looking for some help. Addison asked if she had to show math, and now would be the time to show some math. Go ahead, Addison. Tell me how to do it.
Okay, I did 60. Wait. I just did 25 divided by, divided by 69. Because the coach.
What was 69 divided by 25?
2 something.
2 point something, and you rounded down to 2?
2.76.
So 2 people is what you said, because you can't have half a person.
But then I didn't round up because when I did it, I multiplied and got 75, and the maximum was 69.
Okay, so she got 2.58, and then part of her was like, hey, you can't have half a person. But then she was like, maybe I should go with it. But she checked her math, and she did 25 times 3 to see could the 25 people each bring 3. And then that would be 75, which is over the limit of 69. So she knew it couldn't be 3, so it had to be 2. She is the only person, because Discreet went ahead and did this bell ringer yesterday. She is the first person to ever explain it to me like that. I like her logic. I swear she's correct. But there is a different way. That's the way I thought. Patrick. Oh, so when she's dividing by 25, she's considering the girls and the principal, the vice principal, and the coach. Are they necessarily getting to bring guests? So, but there's seriously nothing wrong with the math. Does anyone know a different math way to do this? Okay, table 4, you can have a point. Table 3, you wanted to help?
I think definitely table 1.
Yes, table 1 should have gotten a point. Sorry.
I got the 69 people minus 22 people and got 47. And then subtracted 47 minus 3 and got 44. I divided 22 from 44 and got 2.
See, this is how I would have worked it out. So she subtracted out that she knew the total was 69. And then she had to subtract out the girls, the players. Then she subtracted 3 more for the coach, the principal, and the vice principal. And then she knew she had 44 slots remaining. Well, if there are 44 slots remaining, and there are 22 players, wanting to use those 44 slots, 44 divided by 22 is 2, so the answer is 2 people. Now, I would have done it Dave's way, down here at the bottom. But again, there's really nothing wrong with Addison's way, and she can justify why it's not 3. So if we were back on when we used to do our justification document, she would still get all her points. She would still mace it completely when we used to mace. We don't really mace anymore. Me at table 3, if you didn't add a point, you sure do need to. Table 2.
Okay, so I multiplied the 22 times 2, and then I multiplied it by 3, times 2.
Okay.
To see how much I could get from that. And then I can multiply 22 times 3. So when I got 22 times 3, I got 66. And then adding the 3 of it.
Yes. Okay, so this is what Mia's saying. She said she took 22 and then times 2 and 22 and times 3. And when she did 22 times 3 and then added in that coach, vice principal, and principal, she ended up at 69 on the nose. She did 22 times 2, she ended up with 47. However, while she's completely correct, her math is right, there's nothing wrong with her numbers, you could see why Patrick would read that and say, oh, okay, since this one got me to the 69, that means I get to bring 3 yes. That's why I more see it Jay's way when she subtracts off those 22 players. I think Mia was smart enough to understand 47 plus 22 is 69. But you can see how if we go with her way, we might think we get to bring 3 yes, when really we're forgetting to account for ourselves. I don't know. That one's weird. That one's a strange one. And then we get even stranger. I need you to bear with me on this one. I swear we can handle it. It's just not something we've had to do in a while. Okay, so we're going to take geometry and algebra, and we're going to combine them together into one. It says, write your answer in function notation. We've got to indicate the dependent and the independent variables. We need an equation for the area of a circle, and then here's the fun part, as a function of its circumference. So before we go crazy, can someone just tell me the formula for the area of a circle? Yes, Paige. Pi r squared. And then can someone tell me the formula for the circumference of a circle?
2 pi r.
Now, thank you. Table 3 can have a point. Table 1 can have a point. Now, normally I would think of pi times diameter, but Addison's formula for circumference is better because both of our formulas have what letter in them? R. Table 2 can have the point. Both of our formulas have an R. We're going to use that. So right now, our first formula is really the area of a circle written in terms of the radius. And our second formula is really the circumference of a circle written in terms of the radius. So we're going to make the two worlds collide. That way we can finally reach their goal of area written in terms of circumference. Okay, so back to our blue formula. What if we were to do what we've been doing lately, and like you had to do on the last question of your quiz? What if we were to take this formula and rearrange it and solve for the letter R? What would that answer look like? What would we do first if we wanted to get R all by itself? You can have your point, table 1. So let's divide by pi. So I have A over pi equals R squared. How do I get rid of that squared? Don't say it, Bristol. I will give 2 points if you can tell me how to get rid of that squared.
Square root.
Table 1, you get 2 points. Take the square root of both sides. When you take the square root of both sides, well, R squared, square root of R squared, it ends up being just plain old R. So, hey, now something we just quizzed on, something we just talked about that you thought was stupid is about to be useful for us. Okay, now this one's going to be a little easier. Again, we have this formula for circumference, 2 pi r. What if I could rearrange this formula and solve for r? What? Divide by what? Divide by 2 pi. I heard it from 1, 3, and 6. You may have a point. So our final answer would be, for the second equation, would be circumference divided by 2 pi equals r. And you're like, Miss Thompson, I don't see how this is going to help us answer the question at all. But I swear it is. And I probably didn't have to rearrange that one, but I wanted to do it for fun, just to practice. I really only needed to rearrange this one. Okay, so if we want to know area in terms of circumference, Well, the old formula was pi r squared. But hey, we want it to have a c in it. Didn't you and I just solve for r? Didn't we just decide this formula connected circumference in r? So I'm going to replace the r with c divided by 2 pi and square it. So our final answer is going to be this. Area in terms of circumference is a weirdo looking formula where instead of using r, we replaced r with c divided by 2 pi. And how did we get c divided by 2 pi? You and I rearranged the original equation for circumference. Was that a whole blast of fun? Not really. Do I think that you could do that on your own today? Probably not. But I pray at least you could rearrange the equation. And at least now we're seeing why rearranging an equation could be useful in life. And I still haven't answered the question because it says I'm supposed to indicate the dependent and the independent variables. So does the area depend on the circumference, or does the circumference depend on the area? Who depends on who? It looks like in our formula that if we pick the circumference, doesn't it affect the area? So I would say area depends upon circumference. And that would make circumference independent. And since area needs the circumference, it would make it dependent. And now we're going just crazy. Do I really think that Paige could have done all this on her own? Maybe not today. Do I think she could have written those two equations and rearranged them in terms of r, though? Heck yes. So that would be our main goal of, could you at least rearrange the equations? Okay, so if they asked us to, they didn't. But if they were crazy, they could have asked us to do circumference in terms of area. And hey, you and I had already solved that other formula anyway. So we could do it the other way if they asked us to, but they didn't. And I know you're like, Miss Compton, you're getting out of hand. So I will stop. But they could have. Okay, are there any questions about these two? Okay, let's move on. I actually would love to do an ACT prep question. Let's at least do one today, because my gosh, we've gotten off on that. What did we leave off on? It looks like we left off on number 4. Where's my first period? Fifth, third, second. There's first. Yeah, the last one I have written down is number 3. So let's do number 4 at least. Oh, goodness gracious. Let's do number 4 at least. Oh, and this gives me my pitch for algebra 2 trade. We'll do 4 and 5. On 4, I will give you a minute. It doesn't require a minute, but again, there are a lot of words, and Hal is sitting far, far away from the screen, so it might take him a minute to read all the words. Let me see if I can minimize that, maybe zoom in a little more. If you need to get closer or whatever, I totally understand. The hardest part about this one is reading all the words from far, far away. Yes, you had a piece of paper with 1 through 3 on it already. I pray somewhere in your life. Okay, you got about 10 seconds left, so if you've not already decided, you need to pick a letter, make it a smart one. Okay, we're going to call time. Are there any volunteers for the answer? Yes, table 1. Jay, he says, is there any table that really feels strongly about a different answer? Okay, then I'm going to break your entire heart right now. You don't actually need the paragraph at all because they gave you the diagram. Could they have just given you the paragraph and expected you to draw your own diagram? Absolutely, but I don't need that paragraph. I've got a picture. I can read. They said to find exactly 8 responses. I see it right there. There is one answer choice that I would have eliminated because I think it's silly because of where the 8 is. What answer choice is silly? All 3 types is silly. And then there's one other answer choice that is silly. Wrap only. Obviously, we're supposed to have 2 overlapping circles. Yes, it's wrap, and it is rock, so you should have picked J. But if you picked F or K, come on. Get it together. And we will do one more and then move on to our notes. The one more we will do is going to be your absolute favorite, I know, because you know what it involves? Absolute value. There's no way you should miss this. We just talked about absolute value. If you've not selected your answer, you probably should now. Okay, we're going to call time. Did I give you a point earlier, table 1 for table 1? You have a point. So, table 1 volunteer with this one? Yes, table 5. The correct answer is E. So table 5 can get the point. So you want to have some work to show me that I can put on the screen to get their group point? She does. Bring it here. Perfect. Okay, with the bars, 2 minus 9 is -7. With bars, make it a positive 7. She decided to distribute 3 times 4 and 3 times 2. And she got E. I wonder if I can put mine at the same time. I did it a little different. Let's see if I can zoom out. I did mine a little different than her. I still got -4. I didn't distribute the 3. I did 4 plus 2 is 6. -3 times 6 is -18. There's nothing wrong with what she did though. Hers is completely right. If you, and I know you're not going to tell me. I know you're not. But if you got -32, you forgot that the bars made everything positive. You had -14 minus 18, and that's how you got -32. And then let's look back at those answer choices. Does anyone need this? Okay. Let's look back at those answer choices. Kelsey, you better come take this or I'll forget and keep it forever. When we look back at those answer choices, I've told you before about my Goldilocks and the Three Bears logic. My Goldilocks and the Three Bears logic would have failed me now. So what I normally do when I don't know what I'm doing, which is more often than you realize in life, I eliminate the smallest and the largest, and I pick one of the middles. That makes sense to me. But if I had eliminated the smallest, in this case, I would have eliminated the answer choice. So while I do normally guess smart, today it would have failed me. Any questions on that one? Then we are going to do 10 problems in 10 minutes, and I swear you won't even feel like we rushed that badly. You picked up the notes yesterday on your way into class, yes? Hunter didn't. Hunter, here you go. Okay, get them out. If you didn't, they're right here on my desk. Come get them. It doesn't hurt my feelings. We are going to make our life so much easier because we're going to ignore the directions that say graph the solution set. That's one way we're going to make our life a little easier today. We're not going to graph the solution set. We are not going to graph that solution set. Okay, with an absolute value, it's just like solving a normal equation, except instead of an equal sign, you have a less than, a greater than, a less than or equal to, a greater than or equal to. You've already done this in algebra. We're just going to review it real fast. Any help on the first one? It's on my desk. Help on the first one. How did you solve this equation? Do you add 6 to both sides? Subtract 6. So thank you. I'm going to give 3 a point for volunteering though. Subtract 6 from both sides. And you would have P less than 8, and that is our final answer. And like I told you, we can finish these quickly. We're already on to number 2. What's our first step on number 2? Add 9 to both sides. We have 8z greater than or equal to negative 6. Now what do we do? Table 3 can have a point again. Actually, yeah, they can have a point again. And then table 6, didn't you help me? That's what I thought, Eduardo. I'm starting to recognize your voice. It was Hunter? Oh, you can have a point as well. Okay, and then so I have z is greater than or equal to negative 6 over 8. I'm not actually done.
You can reduce.
Okay, table 2 can have a point. What should I actually get?
3 over.
Table 3 can get a point. Negative 3 over 4. Okay, notice that I have not flipped the sign this entire time. On the first problem, it was less than, it remained less than. On the second problem, it was greater than, it remained greater than. That is the worst thing that people do, is they flip the sign prematurely. They think they're supposed to and they're not. Yes, Arturo?
There was a second answer where it can also become a decimal as well.
Yes, but again, Miss Compton lives in fraction land. I like fraction land. I get it's negative 0.75, I know. Okay, so we get to number 3, and I need some help. Okay, I heard Addison say it completely, so Addison table 1 can have a point. Add 14 to both sides. I have k over 3 is less than 14 and negative 5 make a positive 9. Table 1 can have a point again. Natalie, I heard you first before Paige. All the Paige was about the same time. Natalie, you can have a point. So you have k is less than 27. If only Miss Compton could do math today. Isn't that correct, dears? Someone confirm that Miss Compton can. My old key is wrong. I swear 9 times 3 is 27. I wrote 18. Clearly I could not do math then. I'm improving now. Are there any questions on number 3? Again, we're still just solving equations. We're just, instead of an equal to sign, it's a less than, greater than, equal to, etc. Okay, we get to number 4. What's the first thing I should do on number 4? If I add 14 to both sides, I have negative 18 is less than negative 6z. I'll give it to 5 and 6. You can both have a point.
Divide them both by negative 6.
I can divide them both by negative 6. And this is the first one where we should probably throw a flag. So I'm going to put a star by it because this will be our first one where life's getting a little tricky. Okay, 18 divided by 6 is 3. And then I know that those cancel out and I have z. But as a general reminder, when you divide by a negative, you flip the sign. So since we divided by a -6, we actually need to change the sign of our inequality. So instead of less than, it needs to be greater than. And then, if you're being real picky, and I know that you are, because you're with me, all our other problems we've had letter, symbol, number. Letter, symbol, number. Letter, symbol, number. And this one we don't. So we probably want to rearrange it. So we probably want to have Z and then a 3. What would the sign be then? It would be less than. So if we were to read it backwards, it actually says Z is backwards. That would be less than 3. Okay, we go to number 5. And I'm actually going to skip 5 because I know you can handle it. Let's go to 6 instead. What's the first thing I should do on 6? I heard, who was that said it so quietly, multiply by 5? Okay, table 2 can have the point. If I multiply by 5, I will have -15x is less than or equal to -4x plus 22. Now what? I could do that, or I could add 4 to both sides. And I would have -11x is less than or equal to 22. Now what do I do?
11 divided by 22 divided by 11, and then your answer should be -2.
Yes, but
You gotta flip the sign.
gotta flip that sign because you divided by a negative. So I would put another star by number 6 because this has happened again. Now Will's going to get super excited and he's going to start flipping the sign all the time. You cannot flip the sign all the time. You can only flip the sign if you have multiplied or divided by a negative. Has to be a negative. Okay. Let's skip 7 because a number 8 is equally as hard. So let's go to 8.
Distribute.
We distribute and we would get 3a plus 12 minus 6a minus 8 is less than 4a minus 1. This is what some people made a mistake on their quiz right here, ladies and gentlemen. When you combine those like terms on that same side, you just put them together. So 3 plus -6 is -3a. 12 and -8 is +4. Why are you making your life so complicated?
You need 4 plus 1.
I can add 1 to both sides. That would work. I would have -3a plus 5 is less than 4a. I could add 3a to both sides. And have 5 is less than 7a.
Naturally.
And then I could divide by 7 and have 5/7 is less than a. But really, I want to put a is greater than 5/7 because I like it to be letter, symbol, number. I believe you can handle these. The ones that we've skipped, 5, 7, 9, and 10, are the ones that I would do on Monday. But for those of us who will not be with me, I will just post the whole key to these notes on Google Classroom. Your homework is on the back. If I'm not going to see you Monday, heck, I'll just wait for everyone and check it Tuesday. So you really don't have homework this weekend. I will check it all Tuesday. Goodbye. Enjoy your class.